If the Yankees were to go after Shohei Ohtani this season, what would a trade look like? Let's explore some options on today's Locked On Yankees.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm your host, Stacey Gotsoulias, and I'd like you to know that today's episode is brought to you by HelloFresh. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. Go to HelloFresh.com/MLB60 and use code MLB60 for 60% off plus free shipping. With me, as always, is my producer, Steve Granado. Steve, what do we have for everyone today?
Ooh, we got a big one, Stacey. This is a big one. We're going to talk a little bit about this Angels-Yankees series that is starting here tonight. 3-game set. The Halos in town for the only time this year. But we got to talk about a potential Ohtani trade. So for new viewers, new listeners, I'm an Angels fan. Stacey, obviously, a Yankees fan. So this is right up our alleys, right? So for a potential trade to happen here, there's a couple of things I wanted to get out front here early. Following the Angels and all the ups and downs, let's say, of what it has been like over the last 2 years with Shohei Ohtani. Obviously on the field, tons of ups. Off the field, tons of downs. Not with Shohei himself, to be clear. So we're going to talk about this in a second, but the unwillingness to potentially move from Shohei in a trade sense from the Angels makes this whole talk a little tricky. So I wanted to get that out front right away. But if the Angels were to want to move on in a trade sense, remember his contract is done at the end of the year. And I think that's a major sticking point here. We'll talk about in a second. But I've laid out a rubric, Stacey, that I think would kind of be the tipping point or kind of like the starting point for what the Angels would be asking for. That rubric, I think, personally, is 2 major leaguers, potentially with at least 2 years of control. They don't have to be like bona fide, ridiculous, or anything like that. They need 2 major leaguers, a top-end prospect, and then a middling back-end prospect. I think last season, had the Angels wanted to move on from Shohei, I think a trade would have included probably 1 or 2 more prospects in there.
Okay.
But so again, with the contract ending this year at the end of 2023, you obviously don't have to give as much to get that much. So going along with my rubric, the 2 major leaguers, a top-end prospect, and a middling or a back-end prospect. Middle, your 25th, your 30th, maybe just unranked, one of those guys. My trade proposal is Gleyber. He's done at the end of the season, right? Contract ends. Michael King, who has 2 arbitration years left. The Angels really need some help in the bullpen. And I feel like the Yankees could part with Michael King and not feel awful about it. They have right-handed options. I originally had Clay Holmes there. And then I think that's a little too much. Oswald Peraza is the main centerpiece of this trade. What you're really saying is Shohei for Oswald in reality over the long haul. And Matt Sauer, a right-handed starter who's down in Double-A right now. That's my trade. Torres, King, Peraza, Sauer for Shohei. Your thoughts on that trade initially, Stacey?
Yeah, initially, that looks good to me because I forgot about the whole he's basically done after this year and he's a free agent. So the Yankees wouldn't have to give up as much as you would think they would for Shohei Ohtani. I was thinking Gleyber Torres as well. So I agree with that. But yeah, that doesn't seem like Shohei Ohtani is an otherworldly player. And, the Yankees used to do moves like this where they trade for like some guy in the middle of the season to help with a playoff run. And could you imagine if they did that with Shohei Ohtani?
Yeah.
That would be insane.
He's
and
on
even
an
if they
incredible
got him
start,
for
too.
the 1/2 of the year and he did something to help them, it would be amazing.
I think in this trade proposal too, I feel that your flex pieces, depending on what point of the year you're into, would be King and Sauer. I think you would want Torres to fill the hole, especially if a guy like Drury went down or a guy like Renfroe went down. The Angels don't really know what they're getting out of David Fletcher anymore right now. So I think Michael King and Peraza are kind of like, there is no shoving. I think an arm in the bullpen is just so crucial for the Angels. They need that so bad, and they want a top end prospect. And Peraza's so close. Like, he is so close. I mean, he's there right now. But I think also, depending on the time of the season, Matt Sauer could be a throwout. Just get rid of it. And it could be something like Torres, King, and Peraza.
Yeah. Okay. Because when we were coming up with this, I like you had said, he's done after this year. And I forgot about that whole thing, because I figured, for Shohei, the Yankees would have to give up a lot more. But if they're only potentially having him for a half a season before he goes to free agency and someone else wows him with a contract, because we know the Yankees might not be able to do that. Yeah, they wouldn't be giving up that much.
Not be willing to do that.
Right.
They can do that. Everybody can do that.
Everybody
can
do that. They
would not be willing to.
Right.
Stacey, your potential trade that you'd like to pitch.
Ooh, well, all right. I think Gleyber, because we've been talking about Gleyber being a trade piece.
Yeah, that seems like an obvious. Since
we started the show together, we've been talking about them probably trading Gleyber at some point. If it's not Peraza, but I think it probably will be, maybe Jason Dominguez, but I don't know. I don't feel like he's high enough of a prospect for them to take him. And if they can't do Peraza, maybe they pair Dominguez off with someone else to make it like they're getting a big prospect, but the two of them together, like something like that. But I can't think of someone. But they need pitching, so maybe.
Well, so they don't necessarily need starters. That's why Matt Sauer, in my mind, or a Richard Fitz, like kind of that level of guy, could high A, maybe double A guy. That's kind of where my mind was at. Not a guy that's triple A needs to be there now, like Sean Boyle or a Matt Crook or anything like that. I don't think the Angels would be looking for something that heavy,
right?
If they got a major league reliever. But yeah, I think Volpe's a non-starter.
Oh, definitely not. No.
Volpe's a non-starter. Yeah. The Yankees would not do that.
No.
That's why I picked Peraza.
Yeah, I think out of those two, I mean, obviously Volpe's with the team, and I don't think he's going anywhere. It feels like Peraza. I don't think they would do Peraza Dominguez. I feel like that's too much.
That's too much for a half a year.
Yeah.
If it were last season, last June, maybe last May. Yeah. You get a full season and then some.
They would have stuck those boys into an actual catapult and catapulted them into the West Coast if the Angels had wanted that at some point last year.
Yes. Yeah, that easily. Yeah. There is no Volpe Peraza that is a non-starter for the Yankees. There's no way they would do that. I think a Cabrera move would also likely not want to benefit the Yankees at that point.
Yeah.
I don't know. But so this is, again, the part of the conversation I wanted to have too, is the unlikelihood that Shohei gets moved. So last year, when all this trade talk was already starting to buzz, right, about maybe, it was more media formed than it was actual insider information.
Right.
But Artie Moreno has, for what we know, explicitly told his general manager, Perry Bonazian, don't trade him. Not even don't trade him. Don't even explore the option.
Right.
So it's a non-starter from the get-go, it seems. And again, as the season goes on and the Angels are in contention, not in contention, if they're not, then maybe they open it up. If they are, non-starter, right? Because they still feel like they can get him back. Sorry, my dog shakes in the background. They can get him to come back. I think that's not happening. But I don't know. I think without the Angels selling, Ohtani plays the rest of the season. The Angels don't move him, and then he ends up moving on in free agency. That's my anticipation.
Yeah, I think that's probably what's going to happen because, it's been a few seasons here where they haven't even really sniffed the playoffs. Moreno sticking around. It's going to be the same old, same old. And I feel like Ohtani knows, and he has this opportunity to explore free agency, and all these other teams are going to come after him. And, all the numbers that they're throwing around, how much they might spend on him. And yeah, I think Moreno will be his usual selfish self and not do anything, even if they're,
not in contention.
Right. People
I think they might listen if they're way out of it by like July, early July or something. If they're like 20 games back, then maybe they just say screw it and listen. But seriously considering, I think they're going to ask too high. Kind of feels Luis Castillo-y, the asking price too high. Right. And you're just like, what do you guys want? Like, I kind of wanted to touch on this too, Stacey. Like, where would Ohtani fit? Let's say the Yankees and Angels did get a deal done. And let's say Stanton has legs. Where would Ohtani fit? I mean, you make him fit.
Of course.
Obviously. Duh. Obviously, I mean, in the rotation, I put him at the 2, even if everybody's healthy.
Right.
Cole Ohtani, Rodon,
Cortez,
ALDS. Get me. Like, just pack your bags for the ALCS. It's not even close. It's not even close. It's not even close. You don't even need Nestor. You throw Nestor as a long reliever and just let him sit there for a while. But where would Ohtani fit in the lineup, you think? He's batting 3 in Anaheim. Where does he fit? Do you go LeMahieu, Judge, Ohtani? Do you go, in a perfect ideal world, Volpe, Ohtani, Judge?
Ooh, that'd be amazing. Because I feel like Volpe could get on base. Ohtani could do something behind him. Well, Volpe could get on base. He could steal a base. Ohtani could do something behind him. And
steal a base.
Yeah, that takes the pressure off Judge a little bit. Judge can do something. Just thinking about that lineup.
It's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
It would be mind-blowing. Think in your lineup. I don't think this is how it would shake out, but if you went Ohtani, Judge, Stanton, Rizzo.
Oh my God.
Or whatever flip-flopping of that. Like, Jesus.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. And anyone who talks about how the bottom half of the Yankee lineup is a black hole, who would care?
Who cares? It does not matter. It doesn't matter if you're blinded by the top of the lineup and you can't see by the bottom. And also, I don't think it really is, especially if you have sneaky guys. Like, at this point, a sneaky guy would be Harrison Bader.
Right.
It'd be ridiculous. It would be ridiculous. Drop your trades in the comments section here on YouTube. Do you agree with my rubric that I have set up? Again, that rubric is a 2 major leaguers, hopefully with 2 years of control. At least one of them has 2 years control, a top end prospect, and then a middling or a back end prospect. That's my rubric. And again, I think one of those major leaguers needs to be a bullpen arm for the Angels. But let me know, what do you think is fair? Would you be willing to part ways with an Oswald Peraza or, God forbid, an Anthony Volpe to get a couple of months of the greatest player on the planet? Let me know. This conversation, by the way, broke my heart. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we got a Giancarlo Stanton injury update and, of course, a preview of the Angels and Yankees series.
Sorare is a revolutionary fantasy baseball game and marketplace, transforming fans into owners with officially licensed digital cards featuring players from across all 30 Major League Baseball teams. Unlike other fantasy baseball platforms, Sorare managers truly own their fantasy experience, collecting, buying, selling, and competing with player cards against global opponents to win epic rewards. Win or lose, you still own your cards, and there's no cost to play. MLB game weeks happen twice weekly. They span a 3 to 4 day cycle, and at the end of the game week, Sorare managers who rank at or near the top of their leaderboards will win a variety of rewards. Could be cards, game tickets, merchandise, VIP experiences. Prizes may vary depending on the competition. Head to sorare.com/lockedon. That's spelled SORARE.com to draft your team of free player cards, set your lineup, and start competing today to win epic rewards. Again, that's sorare.com/lockedon to start playing today.
Hey, back here on Locked On Yankees, our second segment. Thank you for making us your first listen every single day to the everyday listeners out there. Tomorrow, of course, we're recapping game one, which weirdly enough, I think is going to be the least intriguing matchup of the series with Jose Suarez, who's had a really tough start to the year, facing off with Clarke Schmidt. We'll have a breakdown of the pitching matchups in our last segment. But first here, Stacey, a Giancarlo Stanton injury update.
Who out 6 weeks. Grade 2 left hamstring strain, but it's Stanton, so 6 weeks is probably generous, and I would expect it to be more like 8 weeks, maybe 9 weeks at this point, because it feels like every time he injures something, he'll injure something else while he's recovering from the first injury. So I'm not expecting him back after 6 weeks.
Which is a bummer because he was off to a great start. 4 homers, 11 RBIs, like he had really been pulling his weight.
Yeah, and he hits a double and then he pulls his hamstring.
Yeah, I know. I mean, the good news here is if you're looking for a silver lining is Bader's close.
Yes.
Looks like we're going to get Donaldson back this week too. Here, maybe by tomorrow, you get Donaldson back already. So the injuries, they've bitten. They're around and they keep on biting. The Yankees have really had some tough luck, but they're still playing good ball. They're still playing good baseball. I mean, yes, they split this series with Minnesota, but I mean, by the way it started, to take a split, I go, yeah, okay,
yeah,
careful.
Yeah.
We'll see how they face the Halos here. Of course, it's a new series, Stacey. So we have a new hot, cold, and heating up for you, Stacey. Who is hot on the Yankees?
Anthony Rizzo is hot. He provided the only offense in that horrible game against Minnesota on Thursday night, and I'm noticing at the plate. He's just looking more comfortable, and he had a really good opposite field single the other day that I was impressed by because, a lot of the guys were having issues just constantly pulling the ball, and it was good to see him go the other way. And he just seems so relaxed, and he's having a lot of fun, and he's at the top of the batting average list for the Yankees. Not that people like to look at batting average, but he has surpassed both Judge and Glaber now. So it's interesting to see how he's improved as every series has gone on. And if he stays healthy, knock on wood, I could see him having I don't want to say it's a bounce back year from last year, but I feel like it could be a bounce back year, more hits and, the home runs will come, but I feel like he's going to be on base more because he's going to be hitting more with the shift restrictions.
Yes. Yeah, good to see Rizzo. And also, by the way, remember he had that back thing in spring that held him out for like a day or two or whatever, but I haven't heard anything since. So apparently he's back, doing great. Stacey, who's cold?
Aaron Hicks. It's not completely his fault. He's only had 23 at-bats. He's not playing regularly, but his batting line is 136, 174, 136, 6. He does not have an extra base hit.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I really feel for this dude. I really do feel for this guy.
I do too. He just can't. Well, I mean, it's hard to get something going when you're not playing regularly. And I feel like there's so much pressure on him for when he does actually play that the fans they want him to do something so badly. And when he doesn't, they just start booing him immediately. And it's terrible to watch that. I feel really bad for him.
Yeah, there's no winning. There's just no winning if you're in Hicks. And it sucks to say that. Stacey, who's heating up? This is a good one. This is a good one. This one feels good to say.
I think Anthony Volpe is heating up. I think getting that home run out of the way kind of helped there. He raised his average from 143 to 191. He's getting closer to the interstate there. And, I feel like he's getting more comfortable, and getting that first home run out of the way, I think, is really going to help his confidence. And, he's just a lot of fun to watch when he gets on base and how he tricks pitchers and does things. And it's fun.
Yeah, I like the way he leads off.
Yeah.
Like, not like leads off the game, but like leads off at first. He's an intelligent base runner. I really
he is. Yeah, it's nice to see that because the Yankees have had some guys in the past who not that intelligent running the bases. And, it's nice to see someone like him doing what he's doing. He's fun. And I feel like, by May and June, he's going to look a lot different than he looks in April. Yeah. I can feel it.
Yeah, I feel like he's starting to get, like you said, comfortable. But I don't know. I'm not so worried.
Yeah.
like we anticipated. Again, we said the month thing. That's still going on. We're still in that month.
It's still only April 18th.
Still April. Yeah, very true. Let us know how you're feeling about Volpe thus far. I know the comments are going to be flooded with Shohei trade ideas, but let us know about Volpe too. How you feeling about Volpe? We're going to take our last break and we come back. Pitching matchups. 3-game set starts tonight. Be back in a second.
Grand slams, no-hitters, and double plays are back, and there's no better place to get in on the MLB action than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers can step up to the plate with a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. Just go to FanDuel.com/lockedon, sign up, place your first bet, and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you don't win. So don't miss your chance to get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 when you join FanDuel today. Just go to FanDuel.com/lockedon to sign up. FanDuel, official partner of Major League Baseball. So the pitching matchups for this series between the Yankees and the Angels on Tuesday night, Jose Suarez against Clarke Schmidt.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. And I don't know. So Jose Suarez has not been pitching well in Anaheim. Clarke Schmidt is obviously still trying. Let's see him build off of his last outing. I'll go glass half full there.
Right.
Let's see him build off of that last outing. I'm rooting for Clarke. I got nothing against the dude.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for him. Again, Jose Suarez's year has been a little tough. The Angels will not be throwing Shohei this week. He pitched in the Monday finale, which was a rain-soaked finale at Fenway. They played really bad in Boston.
Yeah.
They played really bad in Boston. It was just, they found every possible way to lose. They ended up winning on Monday, left the tying run aboard. Whew, man, it was a bad game. And it's been bad baseball this week. So we'll see if the Angels can bounce back. Trout and Rendon sat on Monday. So they should be fresh in theory. They're probably already there as we're recording this. Wednesday, Griffin Canning and Johnny Brito. This is an interesting matchup to me. Johnny Brito, Stacey, your thoughts on him heading into his what is now 4th start?
Yeah, well, start number 3 was a nightmare for Johnny Brito. But as we spoke about on Friday, there were some positives from the outing, as bad as it was.
Ball was moving.
Yeah, like the ball was moving, and I feel like he'll bounce back. I mean, he might have some issues with some of the hitters on the Angels, but I don't foresee a repeat of Thursday. At least I hope not. I feel like he can build off that.
Griffin Canning is coming off of his first start of the year, and it was his first start in like 2 years.
Wow.
He had been out for a very long time, and he looked good. Looks like he may have won a spot in the rotation because of that outing. So we'll see how he does against Judge and company. And then the final matchup, Thursday, the finale, Patrick Sandoval, Nestor Cortez. This is my biggest one. I'm very excited for this matchup.
Yeah. Yeah, this is like the Pablo Lopez Garrett Cole matchup that we were looking forward to in the Minnesota series. This is the same thing. Nestor was he pitched fine on Friday, and then the Yankees bullpen blew it for him. So what are you going to do in that situation? He's been great so far this season, not having any issues with the leg that gave him an issue in spring training. And, they've been building him up every start, and he's looked like Nestor. It's been fun to watch him.
Yeah, Patrick Sandoval has been pitching well this season. He pitched very well during the World Baseball Classic for Team Mexico. He was the leader of that staff. Yeah. This could have been a World Baseball Classic rematch. Just BT dubs had Nestor not died during spring training. But yeah, so this is gonna be a good one. The Thursday one I'm very, very excited for. It kind of crescendos the Suarez, Schmidt, Canning, Brito.
Yeah, it kind of goes
Sandoval, Cortez.
Woo, yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting series. I'm very curious to see how the Angels bounce back. Again, they played 4 games in Boston that went from Friday to Monday.
Yeah,
weird.
Yeah, one of those.
And it was, by the way, like for West Coasters, that Monday game, it was delayed because of rain. It's supposed to start at 8:05 a.m.
Yeah, because of the Marathon Day, Patriots Day, right?
Yes. Yeah. So I have a couple. So I have 3 Twitter accounts that I have notifications on for. One is Angels PR. The one is Yankees PR. And the other is Jose Canseco. But the Angels PR Twitter account last night literally said, "Hey, reminder, tomorrow's game is at 8 a.m." Like, that's how early. I was like, "Oh, by the way, don't forget, wake up tomorrow. Take your headphones to work," kind of thing.
But on Sundays, you guys, if the Angels are playing, on the East Coast, like a 1
still
o'clock
10
start is still
Those are
10
like
o'clock,
10:05,
right?
10:35.
If you have like brunch, breakfast while you're watching baseball, that's got to be cool. Yeah, but 8 o'clock seems a little crazy.
8 o'clock is aggressive. That's like waking up to watch an Olympic game or something.
Or like watching a soccer match. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So big series for the Angels. This is kind of prove it right now for the Angels. How can they stack up against one of the top teams in Major League Baseball? And I think the Yankees need to prove that they are the better team. Right, because they faltered against Minnesota.
Yeah, and I mean, they could have won 3 out of 4, if not for a total choke by the bullpen. It wasn't like they got killed in the second game either. They looked a lot better in the second 2 games, but yeah.
This is a prove it. It's a prove it. It's a prove it for both teams.
Mm-hmm.
So stakes will be definitely high here in the middle part of April. Let us know how you're feeling about this series. Again, game 1 is on Tuesday night, 7:05 on Wednesday, and then a 4:05 matinee on Thursday. Thanks for making us your first listen. Coming up tomorrow, of course, we're going to break down the rest of this series. We'll break down game 1, so make sure you hit subscribe. And if you're on the audio side, hop on over to YouTube because it's better over here. Because you get to see our faces. And you get to see my really cool shirt, by the way. I just got this shirt.
Yeah, and you get to see Steve's dog, too. It's awesome.
And you get to see my dog. I mean, I just want to show off the shirt. It's a good shirt. Angel of Death. I love it. It's great. Anyway, local artist. Okay, that's going to do it for us. I'm Steve Granado.
I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. We'll see you tomorrow.